The person in this picture is named Bassam, and he is associated with the most famous case in Egypt, known by the story of Bassam and Habiba. When you hear this story, you'll be shocked by every detail, and one of the most important lessons you will gain from it is that appearances are always unfortunately deceptive. But before we delve into the details of that story, don't forget to support the channel by clicking the subscribe and the like buttons to help spread the video, and thank you in advance. Let's get back to our story. In 2018, Bassam was in his final academic year at the British University in Egypt, living with his family in one of Cairo's well-known areas. He was recognized by everyone as a smart student who enjoyed life. Despite having many female friends, his heart was devoted to only one person, his girlfriend Habiba. Their love story lasted for 8 years, and they met in school, and she lived nearby Bassam's house. Over time, they developed mutual feelings, and with the support of their families and friends, they became a couple. Bassam was financially prepared for the engagement, but the problem lay in his girlfriend's family, which consists of her father Ashraf Hamid, who was a pharmacist turned entrepreneur, and her mother Nagla, who was a businesswoman. Because Habiba's father requested Bassam to put off any formal step in his relationship with Habiba, such as marriage or engagement, until both of them complete their studies in the engineering college they attend. As the years pass, the relationship between Bassam and Habiba continues to evolve further, but Bassam's friends always used to say that they wished he had someone better than Habiba, because there was a clear difference in the social status between Habiba's family and Bassam's. Moreover, Bassam always felt a strange vibe from Ashraf, his girlfriend's father, due to the way he behaved and spoke, which didn't suit a pharmacist, because it was evident that Ashraf's educational background was lacking, something Bassam clearly noticed. However, as for his girlfriend Habiba, she knew how to play the role well, representing that she came from a large and wealthy family with a very high social status. She was the only reason that made Bassam dismiss any doubts or strange thoughts from his mind about her family. During the last academic year, Bassam noticed that everyone referred to his girlfriend's father as Sharif Hamid, not Ashraf Hamid. However, his girlfriend Habiba assured him that it's just a famous name for him, and people have simply gotten used to call him by that name. Bassam also observed that every time he tried to inquire about Ashraf's job, Ashraf would cleverly avoid the topic. During one of Bassam's visits to Habiba's family house, he accidentally discovered the presence of a death certificate under the name Ashraf Hamid. He was very surprised, but tried not to show that he had seen this document, leaving their home after his visit normally. He thought about the reason for Ashraf having such a certificate, and concluded that there might be no escape from the idea that Ashraf is involved in illegal activities through that document. Here, Bassam's suspicions began to haunt his mind again, and one of the most significant being that Habiba's father was not fundamentally a pharmacist, and all the information he gathered from people indicated that Ashraf is a theft, a fraudster, and an illegal drug dealer. All the descriptions he heard about Ashraf was criminal in nature. Then, Bassam decided to inform his brother about what he discovered regarding the presence of the document he saw and what he knew about Habiba's father. His brother advised him to confront Habiba with all the information he had gathered to understand the whole truth in detail, especially since they are getting engaged soon. He also emphasized that it is Bassam's right to know everything about the family he's going to marry into. When Bassam confronted Habiba with all of this, she was shocked by his words about her father. She also denied everything and managed to convince Bassam that he misunderstood and did injustice to her and her family. And because Bassam loved Habiba, he decided to persuade himself that he had misunderstood the situation. Habiba returned home and informed her father about everything Bassam had told her. She told him that Bassam would reveal his secrets, or was on the way of doing so. In reality, Ashraf Hamid, Habiba's father, was a major forger and a drug dealer with previous convictions, totaling 40 years in prison. In 2008, he was sentenced for a drug-related case, and in 2016, he received a sentence for a forgery. He has been evading arrest and was found in ownership of 5 forged ID cards with different names, a death certificate, and fake bank accounts. His main business involves drug trafficking concealed behind the aspect of free trading. Ashraf Hamid realized that if Bassam knew all this about him and told anyone, it would lead to Ashraf's arrest and exposing him after years of hiding and evading the police. Therefore, Ashraf asked Bassam to meet and discuss the issue of the death certificate that Bassam saw. And during this discussion, Ashraf discovered that Bassam was entirely convinced by what he saw, and that he knew about some facts regarding Ashraf's true identity. However, Bassam couldn't imagine that all the information he had was just a drop in the ocean compared to the reality of Ashraf Hamid, his girlfriend's father. Also during this meeting, Bassam spoke and interacted with Ashraf in a completely different and bad manner, which angered Ashraf. Consequently, Ashraf felt that Bassam was a threat to him and began thinking about how to get rid of Bassam to prevent him from revealing the truth. And the truth about Habiba's mother was that she was on a runaway from facing an estimated 11 years sentence from various fraud and forgery related charges. Meanwhile, Ashraf Hamid has rented an apartment and began preparing it to be a burial site for Bassam. He also instructed construction workers to dig a large hole in the kitchen floor, and he prepared a wooden box, bringing the necessary tools to bury Bassam and dispose of him. During this time, Bassam's relationship with Habiba was strained, as she tried to explain her sadness due to Bassam's words about her father and expressed her fear of him leaving her. At the end of the same month, after discovering some truths about Ashraf, Bassam decided to buy a gold gift for Habiba to reconcile with her. Simultaneously, at her father's request, Habiba asked Bassam to accompany her to the apartment her father had rented, claiming it was their future home, seeking Bassam's opinion on some decor matters. And indeed, Bassam agreed and headed to Habiba's car, which was waiting for him in front of his house, with his girlfriend Habiba inside, and they proceeded to the apartment. However, before that, Bassam informed his brother that he would meet his girlfriend Habiba to reconcile. Upon entering the apartment, Bassam was shocked to find 4 men attacking him and restraining his movements completely. They also gagged him to prevent any escape or call for help. Later on, Ashraf Hamid managed to kill Bassam by stabbing, then dragged his body to the kitchen. Then he covered his body in the wooden box with sand, then added a layer of charcoal to mask the smell from reaching the neighbors, and then another layer of sand above the charcoal. Then Ashraf requested the workers who had dug the hole to come to the apartment to install the ceramic tiles and return them to their places back. At that same time, Bassam's girlfriend Habiba had headed to one of the malls to hang out with her friends, seemingly unaware of what had happened in the apartment. And after 2 hours, she called Bassam's brother to inquire why Bassam hadn't come to meet her as they had planned. She also mentioned that she attempted to call him multiple times, but his phone was off. So his brother called him, but assumed that Bassam's phone was switched off due to a drained battery. After 10 full hours passed and Bassam remained missing, his family decided to go to the police station to report his disappearance. However, they were informed that missing persons reports must wait 48 hours from the person's disappearance before the police initiate a search. So, Bassam's family chose to report to the police instead of waiting, stating that the reason behind his disappearance was Ashraf Hamid. Bassam's brother also informed the police about what Bassam knew regarding Ashraf Hamid, including the documents that Bassam had seen. Consequently, Ashraf Hamid was summoned to the police station. Despite denying any knowledge of Bassam's disappearance, security forces discovered that Ashraf Hamid had forged the identification card he had. Moreover, the person in their custody was wanted for justice due to numerous forgery cases, including his own death certificate, to evade capture. Habiba, the girlfriend, was summoned as being the last person met Bassam before his disappearance. In the investigation, she denied seeing Bassam, claiming that his phone was off and she knew nothing about him since 2 days. So, she was released from the police station until their private driver was called. Upon questioning him, he confessed to take Habiba and Bassam to a house, revealing her lies. Police discovered that her apartment was empty, and then security forces found that Habiba and her mother had fled Cairo. Putting pressure on her father Ashraf, he confessed to everything. He admitted to killing Bassam, but attempting to frame it as an honor crime, claiming that Bassam sexually assaulted his daughter, so he sought revenge for her. At the same time, security forces located Habiba and her mother Nagla, hiding in an apartment in the Red Sea Governorate, evading the police. So, they were apprehended, deported to Cairo, and Habiba was confronted with all the information and evidence, including tracking her phone and Bassam's phone, which confirmed that Habiba was with him at the time of his disappearance. Consequently, Habiba admitted to luring Bassam to the apartment with the sole intention of having her father Ashraf beat him due to Bassam's alleged sexual assault. However, forensic examination contradicted Habiba's claims, confirming no assault took place, and Bassam was innocent of this accusation. After concluding the investigations, the verdicts were as follows. Ashraf Hamid was sentenced to death by hanging. Habiba received a life sentence of 25 years in prison, and the remaining suspects were sentenced to imprisonment ranging from 5 to 10 years. And as usual, see you in the next video.